2013 season does not shake out as well as planned. The Titans, here on defense, dropped each of their first 3 games by 7 points or less. Lewis Central then cuts it loose, running off 3 straight wins. LC and Jim Duggan head into the playoffs, winning 4 of their last 6 games. But then comes Spencer. 3 Tigers run for over 100 yards. Spencer runs away from the Titans 35-25. Lewis Central finishes the season at 4-6. So a bad beginning, encouraging middle, and a disappointing ending for LC last year. However, some good news and bad news, depending on how you look at it. Lewis Central is moving on up from Class 3A to 4A Hacksaw.
It's kind of like the old game we played when we were kids. Red Rover, send Lewis Central right over. So that's what it kind of feels like.
It's no secret, though, you've played some 4A teams before. You split with AL, split with Indianola, and you've beaten TJ.
We have, and I think our kids are comfortable moving up because we have played up over the last couple of years, right. But they haven't seen the likes of Dowlings and Johnstons and Sioux City East, so that'll be a learning curve for us. But I think that the kids are motivated.
And you got some good kids, 16 starters coming back right off the bat.
And that sounds good on paper, I guess,
That's
but
right.
you know, 16 and probably 8 or 9 of those guys are two-way guys, so that makes a little bit of a difference with regard to we just, you know, a depth problem. That's what we have.
You were telling me depth problems as always. It seems like every team has that problem on the O&D lines.
Definitely, our kids up front on both sides of the ball, we just don't have a lot of size and we just don't have a lot of numbers, and so that's going to be the part that we really have to focus on early and just make sure that we got that taken care of.
Early is a key word, strength of schedule. Now, you've told me in the past that your first 4 games will dictate the rest of your season.
Oh, absolutely. I think they will. You know, we opened with Sergeant Bluff, who I think will probably, I haven't seen any preseason ratings, but I got to believe that they're going to be a top 10 team. And then we got AL at home, on the road at Harlan, and then back home at TJ. So those are some critical games.
You were telling me before that, you know, you played some 3A teams that are much like the middle of the road 4A teams. But then when you get to that top tier, like at Dowling Catholic, then you could be in trouble.
Yeah, those are different types of games that we haven't ever seen before or experienced. So like I say, that will be a big learning curve for us. But it's an exciting opportunity for our kids because they get to play against kids that are being nationally recruited. And so it's an opportunity, a great opportunity.
And speaking of exciting, it starts and ends on offense for me with your quarterback, Austin Simmons. 3-year starters, committed to South Dakota, led the team in rushing last year, threw for over 1,800 yards and 20 touchdowns. He's the guy.
He really has progressed over the last couple of years. He will be our trigger man, obviously, but he's only going to be as good as we are up front or as good as we can run the football. So we've just got to focus on making sure that we can protect and give him some time to throw.
Running the football, Ryan Main, 80 carries last year. Who else needs to step it up in that backfield?
Well, Ryan's going to be the guy this year. He came in last year about midway through the season, ended up starting for us, had a great year as a sophomore. Only going to be a junior this year, only going to be a junior. So he'll be our workhorse at running back, tailback. So E.J. Borg will back him up a little bit. And, you know, fullback, we got Ryan Scheidel, and we moved Chris Thomas to fullback, too.
Lost your top 3 receivers, but your big tight ends back, Mitchell Brinkman. He averaged a first down every time he caught the ball.
Mitch is back, and he will probably be one of Austin's primary targets. And we returned a number of kids that played sparingly last year, but are good athletes and are good receivers. So.
Defensive side of the ball, base defense, 4 your top 5 tacklers are back, led by the almighty Chris Thomas.
Chris is back. Mitch is going to be at the other defensive tackle. Ryan Scheidel's back. Caleb Shudak's back. Connor Hannafin's back at free safety. So we've got some kids that return back. Luke Sutherland, a defensive tackle. So we got guys coming back on that side of the ball.
But the thing that stands out about your defense the last couple of years, turnovers. You forced just 12 turnovers last year. You got to get some turnovers, make some plays.
You know, in our league that we've been playing, you know, a lot of people are zone read. You know, they're not chucking it around, and people just don't put the ball on the ground from a running standpoint like they had in the past, and we just don't see a lot of A little bit of passing, not a lot, so I think that that's probably had something to do with the turnover margin.
All right, the schedule again. Top 4 games, but you end with the last 2 games at home. That might help you out either way.
Yeah, that's a positive. That middle stretch there will be a grind. But again, our kids are excited. Coaches are excited. We're very optimistic. It's just, we're going to roll up our sleeves and just get after it.
I was going to say, how is it going from one of the larger 3A schools to one of the smaller 4A schools? But yet you've played the Harlans of the world, the Crestons, that have helped prepare you for this.
Oh yeah, the district we were in with ADM and Creston and Harlan and Glenwood and with Carroll, there were some good football teams there that could compete week in and week out at the next level. So I think that our kids will be prepared.
So in the end, you won a playoff game in 2010. You won a couple of years ago. Disappointing last season, and I know it's early, but how do you see this one going? Because you got a stud quarterback, got a lot of guys back. If things fall your way, how do you see it? Well,
our goal, and it's the same goal every year, is just to make the playoffs. We don't care if we come in the front door. We don't care if we come in the back door. We just want to make a playoff, be one of the 4. And once that happens and you get to the playoffs, anything can happen from there.
Well, I appreciate it, Coach, and I can't wait to see you.
Looking forward to it.